This is for May 29th, 2013. Actually going to start off today with the daily chart. Um, as you can see, we did have a pretty ugly bar back here. I think this was last Wednesday. That was the 22nd. Pretty big down bar. We took out the gains of 3 bars. However, we haven't really had much follow through yet. We had a very high volume the following day, but we did hold above this level right here, this little area of consolidation uh, where buyers came in, pushed the market higher. They're still there. We bounced the market once, twice. Even today, I would consider today a bullish type bar around top of this level. So this is a key level around, I'd say 1636. If we break below this with some ease of movement, that's telling me next level support's probably around here, around 1594-ish level will be the next level of support. However, EMA is going up strong. Weekly chart, obviously, it's going straight up. 310 oscillator buy. There's no divergence on the 16. Not that I look at divergences that much, but generally when you see a little bit of divergence like here, it signals a bigger pullback. And you have another divergence here and here, signaled a bigger pullback. So far, this is a pretty strong momentum to the upside. So I wouldn't be shocked if we kept going higher. I personally believe I think we'll probably pull back. We've had quite a run. We are fairly overbought in this. If we do draw a trend channel here, I think we're probably pretty much overbought no matter how you draw it. So we could be due for a much larger change in trend. However, or bigger pullback. However, I wouldn't rule out higher prices. We are in a pretty strong bull market. So be on your toes. I actually think for tomorrow, I am leaning more towards the bullish side. Um, if we look here at my 9,000 tick chart, sorry about this. If we look at my 9,000 tick chart, which actually with the volatility we've been having recently, I'm kind of leaning towards focusing more on the 9,000, just a lot more volume. So signals tend to get less signals and cleaner signals and bigger moves. Um, today there was a good short this morning. I didn't catch it. I had little issues with my computer, so I had to reboot, and I did initially short here, got out, and when we up thrusted here, it was in a great spot to go short for lower prices. I did try going long when I got what I consider to be a typical sequence for change in trend. We had an oversold condition. We rejected this level here, and we actually got some shortening of the thrust. If you were to look at this wave down versus this wave down, shortening of the thrust is definitely coming in the market. So I did attempt to go long here. Luckily, got out for a scratch on that trade. Two, something to look at as well. This is that area on the daily chart. We keep bouncing off of this. Ease of movement came up yesterday from pre-market till the open. Of course, we had a pretty hard sell-off, but if you look at the nature of the sell-off here, is much choppier and uglier looking than this move up, much smoother on this move up. So it came down with not a lot of ease. So we're oversold. I think this is change of behavior we had here towards the end of the day. I really think that we're probably going to move higher and test the minimum 1670. I think would be a good spot to look for, to 1672. Over the next few days, we could go up to this level here. Be interesting to see what happens in this area, which I think is going to be key. This is where selling came in. So our seller is going to come back in this area. So if I see weakness up here, shortening of the thrust with some change of behavior, maybe supply starting to come into the downside, it would be a good spot to look to start going short again. But don't rule out a possibility that this market's a bull market and it's not over yet. I wouldn't rule that out either. As regarded any other markets, wheat is definitely looking stronger. We from that up thrust that we had on the daily chart, We came down and tested it, and today we had a good reaction to the upside. In fact, this is fairly low volume pullback we had here. I'd consider that maybe even no supply. If we can get back above this bar, I think we can at least come up and test this 636 level. I do have a potential trade setting up on the 1500, which is my favorite for wheat. Tends to give better signals. This is where I went long last week. So it may set up for one here. It doesn't look super great given the ease of movement down here. The shortening of the thrust on this up move. Kind of a choppy move up. I like to see a little bit more ease of movement. Here was much easier ease of movement with the pullback having lots of clustering of closes and choppy pullback. This is a much better situation here than this one. Doesn't look currently as great. But, you know, we are coming from this oversold condition on the trend channel here. Draw it. So, and this could be seen as change of behavior. There's definitely more demand than supply on the waves. So that's the only other market I'm looking at. I'm just going to keep an eye on the S&Ps and keep one eye on wheat. I will talk to you all tomorrow.